Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marvin Rotrand, and Mayor Brownstein's asked me to be the MC for today's event here in Côte Saint-Luc, as we are going to raise the Philippines flag as a tribute to the 127th anniversary of Philippine Declaration of Independence, but also in celebration of the first ever Filipino Heritage Month in Côte Saint-Luc. So let me give you a little explanation how it's going to work. First, I'm going to introduce some dignitaries who are here who aren't speaking today. And I'm glad to see so many recognizable faces. Chelsea Craig, School Commissioner for the English Montreal School Board. Zenaida Karubi, the publisher of the North American Filipino Star. Kelly Rosales Carino, former president of the Association of Canadian Filipino Teachers. Jerry Danzel, the president of the United Filipino Seniors. Of course, we have Panday Tinig, and then in a few minutes we're going to sing the national anthems. I want you all to know Paul Imperial is a neighbor of mine, and Editha Fideliso is a longtime friend, and everybody in the ensemble, you do such wonderful work. Also want to note my former ex-school commissioner, Ellie Israel, is here with us today, as is Jeanette Perignon, the president of the Kahira Pilganon Association, Norberto Mandin, the founder of CPRM Community Radio, James de la Paz, the former president of PAMAS, Jane Kayanan, better known as BJ Jane. Thank you, Jane, for broadcasting us today. Ed Tucat, longtime Côte Saint-Luc resident, longtime president of Marquee Basketball, and now the power behind Gilas Basketball League here in Montreal. Also want to note Cesar Manuel, former president of FAMAS, is here with us today. I want to say a special thank you to Daryl Levine from the staff of Côte Saint-Luc. Daryl, you've been wonderful in getting the word out there and giving us the support we need for this event. And finally, a special notice, ladies and gentlemen, we're also here to celebrate the nuptials of Christos and Lulu, and they're getting married at the end of this month. Congratulations and best. So here's how it's going to work. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Mitch Brownstein, our host. Thank you, Mayor Brownstein, for the excellent work you've done with the community. You brought people into City Hall. You told them about all the wonderful facilities in Côte Saint-Luc, and now people are actually using the aquatic center and coming to the library. They didn't know about it before. They certainly are now. We're going to follow Mitch with Al Abdon, my partner in crime. He's the chair of the Filipino Heritage Society of Montreal. We'll go after that to our beloved member of Parliament, Anthony Housefather, who left Ottawa early just to be here for this event. Thank you, Anthony. Then we will go to the hardest working member of the National Assembly, Elisabeth Prass, whose district encompasses not only Côte Saint-Luc, but also a huge part of the Snowden area in Côte-Neige, which I used to represent, and I appreciate what you're doing for the community. I hear it every day. We'll follow that with Ramon Vicente, the president of the Filipino Family Services. There is supposed to be someone from FAMAS. I'm not sure I see Rafi Lacadan here, but he's supposed to be here, so maybe he'll be here in a little bit. We'll then hear from Ray Balansi, the regional commander for Eastern Canada from the Knights of Rizal. And then in closing, there'll be a few words from myself before we do the flag raising and the photo op. I want to let you know that after Mitch's speech, we're going to hear the national anthem from Panday Tinig. We're going to start with Mitch. It's all yours.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Marvin. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's very exciting. You know, whenever I'm with the Filipino community, I just get relaxed. There's just this sense of relaxation being around you guys. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in my speech. But first, I want to thank you all for being here. And on behalf of myself and all of City Council, and City Councilor Dina Burku, Mitch Kajowski, and Andy Schuster, who are with us here today, you're welcome to our flag raising ceremony and the celebration of the 127th anniversary of independence of the Philippines. This is a special day, and you're a special community, and we love you all, and we want all of you who live in Côte Saint-Luc to enjoy yourselves, and those who don't, to move here and tell your friends. So, in terms of my story, last October, we passed a resolution that reads that the City of Côte Saint-Luc formally declares every month of June to be Filipino Heritage Month in Côte Saint-Luc, and that Council recognizes the contributions that residents of Filipino heritage have made to the municipality's growth and well-being. So that's the resolution, and we'll do it every year. So I have a long story of relationship with the Filipino community. When I was a young guy and I started my immigration practice, certain agencies approached me that were doing domestic work permits, and they asked, it's not that good, this. It's not working. Off and on. Hello, testing. Okay, it's back. So I represented a lot of Filipinos, and it was an exciting time. And what we used to do in those days, it was a lot easier to immigrate and even to get work permits. So they would often come to me and they would say, you know, we were here, we were either on a work permit or we were a visitor and we don't have status, what do we do? So what we would do is we would apply to the Canadian Consulate Quebec delegation, either in Boston or New York. And then we would go for the day. We would fly out for the day. So I would go with these people. First, we'd have to give assurances to the American consulate that if they didn't get their visa, they would go back to the Philippines or they had some other place to go so that they could get their US visa, and then we would go for the day. So you go there in the morning and you get to the Quebec delegation and you get to sit in the interview with your client and you see there how stressed and nervous they are. They have to see if they meet their criteria. And then at the end, they're so happy because they got their certificate of acceptance. So then the rest of the day's fun. So we go for lunch and celebrate because the afternoon of the Canadian consulate is just security and medical clearance, which was always all done before. So I did so many of those that each time you develop a friendship with people in the preparation of their application, and certainly on that very special day. That is a scary day in some respects, but a really rewarding one when they get that first step towards becoming Canadian. Because with that program, after working for 2 years, you had the right to apply for permanent resident status and then Canadian citizenship. And we did hundreds of those over the years, so it really was great. And also, I went to the Philippines with Jean Chrétien on a Team Canada mission, so I got to see your country and how beautiful it is and how warm and welcoming the people are, and that really also made me feel good. So we really love you guys and want you to come to Côte Saint-Luc and enjoy everything we have to offer. I also would like to make mention of the fact that in the 1930s, when there was the Holocaust and Jews around the world had nowhere to go, the Philippines opened up their doors to Jewish people from around the world, and many places did, a lot of places did. The Philippines was a rare place that was welcoming, and Jews were able to go there and survive, because if they didn't, the Holocaust was the end of their life, so they had to find a place to go. And we'll always remember that, we'll always have that very special relationship between the Jewish community and the Filipino community, and we have a large Jewish community in Côte Saint-Luc, and we all thank you for that and for everything that you do. I don't think I need the papers anyway, so I'm going to just pass it on to back to you. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mayor Brownstein, for your very moving words. I want you to know, you may not, when Côte Saint-Luc adopted its motion in October, my partner, Al Abdon, and I circulated it widely. And very soon afterwards, we got calls from a couple of mayors. And since then, in the Montreal area, Pointe-Claire and Pierrefonds-Roxborough have adopted the same motion. And we've had a motion, not quite the same phraseology in Dollard, des Ormeaux, and a dozen places in British Columbia also followed up, and a couple others in Ontario. So we're onto something here. So you're an example for everybody. Thank you for that. Before we go to Al and then Anthony, I'd like to give you Panday Tinig, which will play the national anthems of the Philippines, Israel, and Canada.
Bayang magiliw, pwede sa silanganan, alak ng puso, sa lilig mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok sa silanganan. May hinagang mo daw at ay tagang ayaw na mahal. Ang istak ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na naningning. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan ang ay di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng buwan ating pagsinta. Buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mag-aapi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Ulot balik pag-ibig Nefesi udi umiyak Patim Isra kadima Ayin letsiyong jubiya Odlaga tingmatinu Habita palasnutan payin Iyot ang susi Benacelu Eres Sion Jerusalem Iyot ang susi Benacelu Eres Sion Jerusalem. Oh Canada, our hope and native land, to patriot love in all life's vast command.
With glowing
hearts we feast the true north strong and free.
on fire,
Run far and wide, oh yes, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, peregrino sa'yo. Dawn from the shed, pure and glorious.
cartoon brass
Hacen Prass en potleme y el se porque la croix.
Con l'histoire,
Con l'espoir de plus brillant espoir et ta valeur des fois tremblée protégera nos foyers et nos droits. Protégera nos foyers et nos droits.
Thank you to Panday Tinig. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some information that you might find really interesting. On August 17th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the Seagull Center at the corner of Côte St. Catherine and Westbury, Panday Tinig will perform on the theme of the historic friendship of Filipinos and Jews. Mayor Brownstein mentioned the rescue in the Philippines and President Quezon. That's the theme of the show. I urge you to contact Panday Tinig or myself. I'm going to help with the sale of tickets. It's going to be an afternoon that's really amazing to remember. I'm now going to call on Al Abdon. Al is the chair of the Filipino Heritage Society in Montreal. I'm trying to get him to drop the word Montreal because they've gone national. They promote the Philippine Heritage Month in a way that's convinced dozens of other municipalities across Canada to start celebrating the Heritage Month as well. Al, I've known for years, but we became close buddies in 2018 when I moved the motion in Cotonou NPG to have our borough join the City of Toronto to be the first two to celebrate every June as Filipino Heritage Month. It led to a motion in Parliament, which I'm proud to say our Member of Parliament, Anthony Housefather, seconded, and that began Filipino Heritage Month. And since that time, Al Abdon has been the power behind the Heritage Month. Al, the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much, Marvin, my partner in crime. Honorable, honorable officials, esteemed guests, and my fellow members of the Filipino community. Today, we stand witness to a historic moment, hosting the Philippine flag in the City of Côte Saint-Luc for the first time in its history. This act is more than a ceremonial gesture. It is a power recognition of the Filipino community's contribution of resilience and unwavering spirit. It is a celebration of a Philippine Heritage Month and the 127th anniversary of the Philippine Independence Day. It's a day that marks our nation's triumph in pursuit of freedom and self-determination. The Philippine flag, with its radiant sun and 3 stars, symbolizes courage, unity of the people who have fought for identity and place in this world. It looks like today, as it waves in the skies of Côte Saint-Luc, it signifies the deep-rooted presence of Filipinos in Quebec, a presence built on hard work, cultural richness, commitment to the values of democracy, inclusivity, and respect. On behalf of the Filipino community, I extend my deepest gratitude to the City Council of Côte Saint-Luc for adopting the motion to raise our flag today. This act of recognition affirms the city's dedication to diversity and embrace of many cultures that makes Quebec a truly vibrant society. Mayor Mitch Brownstein, your leadership in this endeavor is a testament to your commitment to inclusion, and we thank you for making history with us. However, as we celebrate this milestone, we must also acknowledge the challenge that lie ahead. The recent Bill 84, proposed by the coalition Avenir Quebec, CAQ in short, seeks to redefine Quebec's approach to immigration by prioritizing integration into a singular cultural identity over multiculturalism. The bill mandates that newcomers adhere to Quebec's values, emphasizing the protection of French language, secularism, and gender equality. While these principles are important, the legislation raises concern about erosion of multiculturalism, linguistic diversity, religious freedoms, and the pathway of residency to the immigrants. For decades, Quebec has been home to people from all walks of life, bringing their own religions, language, and faith. The Filipino community, like many others, embrace Quebec's culture while maintaining our own identity, a balance that enriches society rather to divide it. Bill 84, however, threatens to limit funding of cultural organizations and events that do not align with Quebec's common culture, potentially silencing the voice that have long contributed to the province's vibrant population. As we raise the Philippine flag today, it serves as a symbol of unity and resistance, a reminder that diversity is not a threat, but a strength. Let's call to action for all communities to stand together in defense of multiculturalism, linguistic rights, and freedom to celebrate our heritage without the fear of exclusion. We urge the policymakers to recognize that integration doesn't mean assimilation. It means fostering relationship between cultures, embracing differences, ensuring that every individual, regardless of their background, could thrive in Quebec. For the Filipino community, let this moment inspire us to continue advocating for our rights, our language, and our traditions. Let us remain steadfast in our commitment of building bridges, not divisions, not barriers. And let us remind the world that our identity is not something to be erased, it is something to be honored. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Al. I actually share your sentiments entirely. I'm proud to be Canadian, and for me, that's always meant you can have a hyphen, two identities. You can be Jewish Canadian, Filipino Canadian, Italian Canadian, whatever. This country is built on our having roots in different parts of the world and shared values here in Canada. I'd now like to introduce somebody I think is one of the hardest working politicians I've ever met. I used to be a city councilor, and that's a tough job. And I used to go to a lot of events, including within the Filipino community, which was large in my neighborhood. Whenever I went to an event, there was always somebody guaranteed to be there. And that somebody was the MP who represented 4 times as many people as I did. He was everywhere. This guy's a ball of fire, an energizer bunny, hardworking every single day, and you always get a fair shake from him. I introduce Anthony Housefather.
Thank you so much, Marvin, and thank you so much, Mitchell, and to Andy and Mitch Kijaski and Dita Burku, who are all here. Thank you to Côte Saint-Luc City Council for bringing together the Filipino community on the steps of the Côte Saint-Luc City Hall. Thank you to Al and the Heritage Society. This couldn't have been done without a lot of people, but it's a really proud moment. First of all, I can't tell you how touched and how teary-eyed hearing the choir sing Hatikvah made me. The idea that the Filipino community and the Jewish community are so close together and share each other's traditions, and that there's many members of the Jewish community here to celebrate the 127th anniversary of Filipino independence and Filipino Heritage Month, is a very, very moving thing. Just imagine what some people in Quebec City must think about an event that's happening on the steps of City Hall, happening almost entirely in English, happening with a religious community, happening with a multicultural community, and all coming together to celebrate something. I'm not sure that that would be the ideal scenario for Premier Legault or his cabinet. But we're just as much Quebec as he is, or they are. And we have a right to have our identity be prominent as well. It doesn't mean that we deny others the right to their identity. It doesn't mean we don't all speak French. But as English-speaking Quebecers, we have the right to communicate in English to each other and publicly. We have the right to celebrate our traditions, our religious traditions and our cultural traditions, privately and publicly. And we have the ability to stand for the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and all that it is to be Canadian. So I just wanted to say that I'm just so excited to be here. Today we were voting on legislation. We passed its second reading, a tax cut for everyone. We passed its second reading unanimously by 335 to nothing. A bill that will cut the lowest tax rate for the 57,000 and under bracket by 1%, saving every individual about $450 and a couple about $900. So that bill is now going to third reading and still has to go to the Senate, but I'm confident it'll be adopted. We're doing a lot of good work. We're creating one Canadian economy instead of 13. We're moving forward with national projects. We're moving forward with legislation to make people feel safer in their communities. But I wouldn't have missed this for the world. So I'm so happy to be here to celebrate the Philippines' 127th anniversary and Filipino Heritage Month here in Côte Saint-Luc. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm now going to call up the member of the National Assembly, Elisabeth Prass. Elisabeth's territory and Anthony's are not exactly synonymous, but they're largely the same. And Darcy McGee also, after the reform of the last election map, covered a large part of Snowden and Cotonou, including about 80% of my former district. So I did get to work with the deputy for Darcy McGee. Elisabeth, it's yours.
Thank you, everyone. I want to first thank the City of Côte Saint-Luc, Mayor Mitchell Brownstein, and the Council for having initiated what I think exemplifies the friendship between the Filipino and the Jewish community. We have a lot of values in common, and there's a lot more that brings us together than tears us apart. And as other people have referenced tonight, what's great about Quebec, what's great about Canada, is what makes us strong is our unity, is our strength and our diversity. And so when we have governments like the CAC government in Quebec City that tries to create divisions amongst us, we're going in the wrong direction, and it doesn't serve anyone in Quebec. We're here today to celebrate the 127th anniversary of Filipino independence. A fight that was not only political, but was courageous and was done for the hearts and minds and for the self-determination of the Filipino people. And 127 years later, we stand here in Montreal, but there are Filipinos present all over around the world who proudly carry the values and the messages from all of that your heritage brings to you. We were saying this morning as we were at FAMAS for the flag raising as well, there's something that seemed to be missing this year, and that was the presence of Alberto Abiera. And I was very proud to receive a delegation of over 50 people from the Filipino community in Quebec City to the National Assembly, because it's as much your National Assembly as it is anyone else in Quebec City, and to be able to honor birds in the National Assembly, I think, was a wonderful example of how we each have our place in the society, and we each need to take that place in the society. This month, we also celebrate Filipino Heritage Month, and that was established under a federal liberal government. And last week, I was very honored to deliver a declaration in the National Assembly to mark that month. And I do it every year because I think it's important that the people in Quebec City realize that the Filipino community has so much to offer, and there's things that we can learn from each other. And so we need to be exposed, and we need those opportunities to be able to learn from one another, because that's when we grow the most. So again, I thank the City of Côte Saint-Luc for this initiative. This is the first year, but for many, many years, many more to come. And just so happy to see so many people here from the Côte Saint-Luc community, the Filipino community, the Jewish community, because when we stand together, we stand stronger.
Thank you very much, Liz. Before I turn it over to someone who's not only a colleague, but a personal friend, Ramon, Vicente, who saved me from a vicious fish when I was attacked in the waters off the Philippines. There's a story there. I want to let everyone know June 15th, this June 15th, Sunday, is going to be the celebration of Philippines independence. It's run by the Canadian Council Filipino Associations of Quebec. There's a parade at 11:30 at Mackenzie King Park in Snowdon. Everybody is welcome. It'll be followed by a party, and there'll be some very good speakers. I hope you'll come to that event. And as well, 22nd of June at the Monument at Mackenzie King Park, celebration of the birth anniversary of Dr. Jose Rizal. I'm now going to call up the president of the Filipino Family Services, a service provider through Eastern Canada, Mr. Ramon Vicente.
Bonjour, good afternoon. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. I have nothing to say, but my heart is full of gratitude. Being united like this, and people behind us, Rich, Anthony, and this guy, my friend, I call them Tres Amigos. Now they have amused. What else do you want? Everything has been said, been done by Al, my friend. You got it, you got to the point. And I was a high school teacher back home, so I just want, if you let me, to say things about the flag. The flag ceremony back home is being done every day, in the morning and in the afternoon. All this traffic will stop if we have the flag ceremony. I was a high school teacher in Montreal City for a year, and I told my students, you have them stop. And the flag itself, being a high school teacher, I would like to tell you about the tradition or the history of that flag. The red means we are at war. The blue is we are at peace. So right here in this afternoon, I saw Anthony and the ladies put it backwards. So I said, Anthony, change it. So they changed it right away. So the history of that, three stars, 1, 2, 3. That's the biggest island in the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And that star has 8 rays. 8, if you count that. That's the 8 biggest provinces in the Philippines. So it's all there. So, and I told, last thing that I told Anthony, where's Anthony? Right here. There you go, Anthony, my friend from Greece. Said, Anthony, the moment they sing the national anthem, you have to raise it fast. And I said, why? Because we are all happy to see rice. And he did it. And in the afternoon, again, we have a flag ceremony. The same thing, everything stopped, and you have to put that down. The national anthem. It has 2 minutes. And I've been telling the PMT, we have the preparatory military training in the Philippines, PMT. So they know in 2 minutes when they sing that is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, slowly until the end of the national anthem. And he asked me again, why? Because we are sad to let the flag go down. Thank you, Anthony. You got it, man. Thank you, guys.
To Ray Balansi, the Eastern Canada Regional Commander of Knights of Rizal. Mr. Balansi.
Thank you, Sir Marvin. For those who know me, please allow me to introduce myself to you. I am Ray Balansi. I am the Regional Commander of Eastern Canada of the Knights of Rizal. That's why I'm wearing this to symbolize the Rizal Association. I'm so happy that at least the Côte Saint-Luc Mayor, Honorable Ms. Brownstein, and your council have recognized the month of June as Philippine Heritage. And as I was watching the flag going up, it seems to me that this is already a sign of forever friendship. And we assure you, Côte Saint-Luc, that the Filipino people here around you will give their unending support during whatever. Any kind of organization that we will be doing here, we will be supporting you. And thank you, and good afternoon to everybody.
And let's not forget, August 30th, Montreal is going to be host to the Canada Regional Assembly of the Knights of Rizal. Knights, not only from all over Canada, but from all over the world, are going to come. It's going to be quite an event. Before we do the photo op, I'd like to conclude with a couple of words. I think people need to realize how much the Philippines is inspired by Dr. Jose Rizal. And he was executed by the Spanish in 1896. So he never lived to see the Declaration of Independence, the creation of the First Republic, and the long struggle towards eventual independence. But his principles, his philosophy, what he believed, inspired the Philippines. When Emilio Aguinaldo came on the balcony on June 12, 1898, in front of those assembled, and declared independence, he was inspired by those principles of racial equality, brotherhood, friendship between nations, and cooperation. And that's the bedrock in which the Philippines was born and remains a nation. Every Filipino has in his or her heart those principles inspired by Dr. Rizal. It's quite exceptional to see when you go to the Philippines. And it explains one of the reasons why the Philippines was one of the very few places to open its doors to Jewish refugees fleeing the Holocaust, and why the Philippines was the only Asian nation that voted for the rebirth of the State of Israel. I invited a few friends from the Jewish community who were here. Some of them have left already, but however, we're forming a group that is working with the Philippine Jewish Friendship Group, which marches every year in the annual Israel Day rally. It's a real dialogue, and we're going to expand that in the years to come. So ladies and gentlemen, I must say I was really moved by what I heard today. Thank you, Mitch Brownstein, for doing what you do. Thank you to the councilors of Côte Saint-Luc. We were part of a delegation in October, about 20 of us, and we were really moved by the words that Mike Coe and Steve Erdelli spoke, and what the other councilors said. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brownstein is going to invite us up for a photo.
Yeah, we're gonna take a picture in a moment of everyone. Everyone's gonna be welcome. I just want to say in closing, this is a very special day, as I said at the beginning, and it makes us all feel great. Côte Saint-Luc is a very diverse community, just like Marvin was talking about the philosophy of the Philippines. We have people here of all religions, all ethnic backgrounds. You're welcome here, no matter who you are, the language you speak, your sexual orientation. Côte Saint-Luc is a welcome, opening place. And in saying that, I just have to say how proud I am today that we have this flag raising ceremony. And after that, we're having the Darcy McGee Awards for certain individuals who've done outstanding service in the province, led by Elisabeth Prass. And then after that, I'm busy because I'm going to run downstairs to be the Wizard and the Wizard of Oz. So that show runs until June the 15th. There's 4 more shows. Or 4 or 5 more shows, and it's a lot of fun. It's uplifting for people of all ages, so if you get the chance, there's not that many tickets left, but if you get the chance, everybody loves The Wizard of Oz, because what's it about? It's about courage, intelligence, and love, and having the community help you find your way home, meaning that we as a community help each other through life, and that's what you guys do and we do here in Côte Saint-Luc.
On behalf of the Filipino Heritage Society of Montreal and the Filipino community in Montreal and its suburbs, we are honored to present you with a miniature flag. My partner in crime too, my wife.
I'm not going to usurp your spot.
No. The miniature. Oh, there you go. Thank you. We hope you display proudly in your office or your council room during the Philippine Heritage Month, in the duration of Philippine Heritage Month. This gift serves as a symbol of our appreciation for your gesture, raising the Philippine flag on the soil of the City of Côte Saint-Luc. Your recognition of our heritage and culture means a great deal to our community. And in addition, Mayor Mitch As a Filipino likes love to coin affectionate nicknames for important figures, we would like to present to you a special gift which we hope you will wear during the rehearsal of your production, The Wizard of Oz. As an esteemed producer of the play, we hope that this token brings you joy as you bring magic to the theater to life. We're looking forward to tonight's performance at 7:30 at the Harold Greenspoon. Celebrate your artistic vision. I hope it fits. Anyway, thank you very much.